you ever wonder why the royal family's jewelry seems to carry more weight than just gold and diamonds? Like, sure, they sparkle, but there's something else going on. Each brooch, necklace, or tiara Queen Elizabeth II wore wasn't just about looking regal, it was a message, a silent power play, a carefully placed symbol meant to speak louder than any official statement. And now, years after her passing, those jewels are once again in the spotlight, not because of their value, but because of who she chose to wear them next and who she didn't. Let's start with the surprise that's shaking up the palace. Princess Anne's quiet but very pointed revelation that Queen Elizabeth wanted Catherine, not Camilla, to inherit her most iconic personal jewels. And that's not just a wardrobe decision, that's a legacy move. Think of it like this: these weren't crown jewels locked away in a vault for whoever sat on the throne. These were Elizabeth's personal pieces, items she wore, gifted, and loaned with deep meaning attached. And in that final gesture, she wasn't just passing on diamonds, she was handing over trust, history, and the future image of the monarchy. So what made Catherine the chosen one? It's not just about her being William's wife, it's everything about how she's handled the royal spotlight, with calm, discipline, and a quiet kind of strength that mirrors Elizabeth's own style. Back when she married into the family in 2011, all eyes were on her. No royal blood, no aristocratic background, just a woman stepping into the most scrutinized role on earth. And she didn't flinch. She showed up composed, gracious, and strategic. The Cartier halo tiara she wore on her wedding day, that wasn't just a pretty headpiece. It was Queen Elizabeth's way of saying, "You're in, you get it." And Catherine really did get it. Over the years, she's worn more and more of the Queen's personal collection, each piece a nod to the past and a signal for the future. Like when she showed up to the National Portrait Gallery in 2014 wearing the Queen's Hydra bag necklace, a gift from an Indian ruler back in the 1940s. That necklace wasn't just old money glam, it was diplomacy, history, and royal soft power all rolled into one. And there was Catherine, wearing it like it was made for her, because in the Queen's eyes, it kinda was. But while Catherine was stepping up and earning her stripes, Camilla was always complicated. Her path to Queen Consort came with a shadow years of scandal, public distrust, and a controversial love story that started while Charles was still married to Diana. And no matter how much PR smoothing the palace did, that baggage never quite went away. So when it came time for Elizabeth to decide who would carry on her legacy, not just in titles, but in symbols, the choice was strategic. Catherine represented a clean slate, a link between the monarchy's past and its future, someone the public could trust to hold the weight of tradition without cracking. And here's where it gets even more telling. Camilla may have the crown jewels at her disposal for official events, but the Queen's personal collection, that was kept separate. That's the stuff that really matters behind palace walls. The diamonds passed down from mother to daughter. The brooches worn to signal loyalty, mourning, or defiance. The tiaras saved for women the Queen believed in. That's the vault Catherine was given the key to, not Camilla. So when Princess Anne, who's basically the monarchy's no-nonsense truth-teller, steps up and casually drops that Catherine was the one her mother had in mind all along, that's not gossip. That's a torch being passed, and it's lighting up everything. Queen Elizabeth didn't play favorites openly, but behind the scenes, her moves were always calculated. Joy wasn't just for fashion, it was for signaling. And her loans weren't random, they were quiet endorsements. Think of it like this. When Elizabeth let someone borrow a particular piece, it wasn't just a nice gesture, it was her way of saying, "You matter. You're being prepared for something bigger." And over the years, Catherine received piece after piece, each one quietly stacking up like a royal resume. The Queen Mother's favorite Greville chandelier earrings, Catherine wore them to a major royal wedding in Jordan, blending tradition with a modern touch. The Lover's Knot tiara, made famous by Princess Diana, also passed to Catherine. These weren't light choices. Each appearance was a statement. Catherine was being positioned not just as a future queen, but as the image of stability the monarchy needed. Now compare that to Camilla. While her position has technically elevated to Queen Consort, her presence has never had the same symbolic weight. That's not entirely her fault. The path she walked into the royal family was tangled. She was always seen as the outsider who disrupted the fairy tale. Even with the palace's best efforts to rehabilitate her public image, the Queen never made the same kinds of symbolic gestures toward Camilla as she did with Catherine. Take the Prince of Wales's feather brooch. Camilla wore it, yes, but that piece was more functional than symbolic. It marked a shift in her public duties, not her personal acceptance into the Queen's inner circle. You won't find Camilla photographed wearing Elizabeth's deeply personal pieces, like the Hydra bag necklace or Queen Mary's intricate diamond tiaras. Those remained reserved for someone who carried the Queen's vision forward, not the past she had to navigate around. And that brings us to Princess Anne's revelation. She wasn't just speaking as a member of the royal family, she was speaking as Elizabeth's most trusted daughter, the one who understood the internal logic of how the Queen passed things down and wasn't interested in drama. She was confirming that her mother had carefully chosen where her most meaningful heirlooms would go. And it wasn't just about the sparkle, it was about the values those pieces represented. The Queen understood something crucial. The monarchy survives through symbolism. When people believe in what the crown represents, the institution thrives. But when the symbolism cracks, everything wobbles. So her final jewelry decisions weren't vanity, they were strategy. And Catherine, with her consistent public image, unwavering sense of duty, and natural grace, was the obvious choice to carry that symbolism forward. Even the Cartier halo tiara, loaned to Catherine for her wedding and then tucked away to now feels like a time capsule. It hasn't been seen in public since that day, but you can bet it's not forgotten. That tiara is waiting for the right moment, maybe a coronation, maybe a major state event. When it does return, it'll be more than just a crown. It'll be a visual full circle, linking Catherine to the Queen's earliest signals of trust. It's also worth noting that the Queen had complete control over her private collection. These weren't crown-owned pieces bound by institutional rules, they were hers. And she gave them to the person she believed would protect not just the jewelry, but the values behind them. With every necklace, tiara, or brooch that Catherine wears, she isn't just playing dress-up. She's telling a story, one the Queen wrote, one that's still unfolding. Public perception has always played a quiet but powerful role in shaping royal destiny. Catherine didn't just marry into royalty, she earned her place in the hearts of the people. That wasn't because of flashy headlines or dramatic interviews. It was the quiet consistency, the steady grace, and the way she made the role look effortless. She understood the unspoken rule of monarchy. It's not about being seen, it's about being believed. And nothing made that belief more visible than the jewels she wore. At a diplomatic reception in 2019, Catherine stepped into Buckingham Palace wearing the legendary Nizam of Hyderabad necklace. Its history stretched all the way back to India's final days under British influence, gifted to Queen Elizabeth as a wedding present from one of the wealthiest rulers of the time. It wasn't just a necklace, it was colonial diplomacy frozen in diamonds. When Catherine wore it in front of foreign dignitaries, the message was unmistakable. She was now the monarchy's face on the global stage. And that kind of moment kept repeating. Whether it was a brooch worn in Wales that honored her husband's new title, or the lover's knot tiara that symbolized both tradition and transition, Catherine knew the language of legacy. She wasn't just mimicking royal fashion, she was carrying it with the weight and grace it demanded. Each piece told a story, and more importantly, it showed that the Queen had chosen someone who understood how to continue the conversation. When Elizabeth didn't hand out jewels for fun, she was a strategist to her core. When she allowed Catherine to wear pieces previously linked to Queen Mary, the Queen Mother, and Diana, it was like handing her a script written by time itself. Catherine's role was to perform that script without saying a word, and she did it flawlessly. Meanwhile, the absence of any of these pieces from Camilla's wardrobe became its own kind of message. Despite being queen consort, Camilla's jewelry selections remained mostly ceremonial, drawing from the national collection rather than Elizabeth's personal vault. She wasn't snubbed, exactly, but she also wasn't chosen. The Queen had made peace with Camilla's position, but she didn't see her as the future. She saw her as part of a necessary transition, temporary, not eternal. And now, all eyes are on what comes next. Catherine, as Princess of Wales, is already shaping the monarchy's next chapter without needing a crown on her head. Every time she steps out in one of those historic pieces, it anchors the institution. It reminds the public that this isn't just a family, it's a living symbol, a carefully managed legacy. What's most fascinating is how seamlessly Catherine blends the past with the present. She can wear earrings that once belonged to the Queen Mother and pair them with a modern gown, walking that fine line between heritage and relevance. That's what makes her dangerous, in the best way, for anyone who doubts the future of the monarchy. She's not loud, she's not flashy, but she is unshakable. And that's exactly the kind of person Queen Elizabeth spent a lifetime preparing to pass the torch to. Catherine isn't just wearing the jewels, she's becoming them, living symbols of loyalty, grace, and duty, passed down through generations and now shining brighter than ever on someone who truly gets what they mean. Not just diamonds, not just tradition, but the monarchy itself, elegant, enduring, and quietly powerful, all resting on the shoulders of one woman, chosen long before the rest of the world even realized it.